Guten Gardening. Just over 2 months ago, we planted 5 potatoes in each of these blue bins, and today we're going to see what's hidden below the surface. Just about 2 weeks ago, we came out and did a small harvest just to see how our potatoes were coming along. And we've noticed in those past 2 weeks that the foliage has really died back, which is indicative of the potatoes being ready underneath the surface. Even though they're at different stages, they've all flowered, that's coming on, and they should be ready to go. So we're gonna get in here and dig them up. But first I should show you that the soil, well, right by the surface, the soil that we planted these in was our potting mix, and we planted them about 5 to 7 inches deep and covered them with straw and hay, and that's it. That's all we did in preparation for this planting. You can see they do get up right by the surface. One of the nice things about planting with our potting mix is just how loose the soil is. So I'm not even going to have to use a tool when I come in here and start to pull these out. And I'm gonna start by pulling up the plant itself, which is very, oh wow, which is very easily done. And you can see the different stages of development of these tubers. So some that had to be left it in there, and if we weren't worried about it rotting out, would have developed further. So some of the small ones and some of the nicer, bigger ones. Take a look at that. Well, depending on the results that we get from the rest of this bin, even though these are developed, they're not full size. And so we might leave the other blue bin, again, depending on the results. But one of the things we noticed is a little bit of greening on this potato that was near the surface. So what that tells us is we need to add a little bit more hay across the top to protect it from the sun. Now sit back and enjoy a nice potato harvest. Digging for potatoes is kind of like digging for treasure. You don't know exactly what to expect, but you know it's gonna be, you know it's gonna be really good. That is from one potato plant. Nice. We have 3 more plants that we're going to pull up here and see how they performed as well. Well, this one's not going back into the ground, but you can see just how the potato is attached to the root, how the tuber develops right off of the root. Pop. Now it looks like we might be getting close to the end, so you never know which one's going to be the last one coming out, but I dug through this pretty well with my hands. I'm going to do one more go through just to make sure I didn't miss any. Like this one. Again, you can see how easy this soil is to work with. I'm really not struggling at all getting my hand down in here. And another benefit of using your hands, being able to use your hands, is you're not worried about running a spade or anything into the potatoes and damaging them. Because if you want to get them to last a long time, although to be honest, we love our potatoes, so these are going to go pretty quickly. But if you want them to last a long time in storage, you can't have a lot of damage on them. This came from 4/5 of what we planted in here. Let's count them out. All told, we had about 25 of the bigger or medium-sized potatoes, 25 of the small to medium potatoes, and another 10 to 15 or so of the small potatoes. A total of about 65 or 15 potatoes per plant. That is pretty good production inside a little plastic container. Based on the results of this first blue bin, we're going to give this second bin a little bit more time, maybe another week or two. Even though the foliage is dying back, there still seems to be some life in this, and so we're going to see if our results increase even more with a little bit more time. This is where the seed potato would have started, the mother potato. This one might have been a potato peat. You can see it's all spent, but look at the number of shoots that come out from here. You don't want to miss a single one of these little potatoes. There's nothing like the value of these delicious organic potatoes. What do you think, potato guy? You can see how the leaves look when they completely die off, and you notice there's a lot of insect damage. There's a seed, a lot of insect damage on these leaves. And we're not sure if there's the potential for blight and other problems. So instead of composting these are going into the trash. Well, I was gonna have this container in my hands, but it's just too heavy. Well, it's about 10 to 15 pounds. which represents only 40% of the seed potatoes we planted in these 2 blue bins. And that makes us even more excited about what we might find when we check out our other planting setups. And if you haven't seen that video, check out the link in the description. We hope you enjoyed our urban jungle harvest of these potatoes today. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe and share with your friends. And remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow. I forgot to mention something. 1, I found another potato. Can't let those go to waste. And 2, succession planting. We're putting our next crop in here after a soil test, after we amend the soil, and here come the carrots. The bonus recipe you get today is our style of fried potatoes. It's my absolute favorite way to eat these potatoes, and I'm telling you, they're so versatile. I love them in so many ways, but this taste is amazing. We require 4 potatoes. Well, really, it's up to you, however many people are eating. In our case, for just a couple of people, 4 potatoes, a nice medium-sized onion, and the potatoes and onion are fresh from our garden today. Some butter, about a 1/4 stick of butter, and then salt and pepper to taste. And here is how we prepare them. When I was younger, we would always cut up our potatoes in cubes for fried potatoes, but I went camping many years ago and I watched someone make their fried potatoes exactly like this, slicing them thinly, almost like you were trying to create potato chips, but a little bit thicker than that. So that maybe 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to slice the whole way along for all 4 potatoes. They come out looking just like that. Now, it's not an exact science, so if they're not perfect, I'm not worried about that. But you should notice that I did not peel these potatoes. If I had bought them from the store, I probably would have peeled them. But because I got them here from my house, where I know they're 100% organic, and there's nothing on there except the soil that we put in there, and I've washed them thoroughly, these are perfect as is. You can slice the onion however you want. Again, fresh from the garden, just about 30 minutes ago. I typically just do a slice in half, bring it down the sides. I'm not so worried about proportion here. I really love onions. You can put as many onions in as you desire, depending on your taste. This onion adds great flavor. But we end up with maybe 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch slices and pieces here, cubed up. However you slice them, doesn't matter. This is going right into the pot. My stovetop is set to just under medium heat, and I dropped my butter right into that heat. You can add a tablespoon or 2 of oil if you want at this time. It's not really necessary. It's entirely, again, up to you for your taste. I don't heat or cook the onions first. They go in at the same time as the potatoes. So, onions in, potatoes in. And I gotta tell you, the smell is already 100% fabulous. We cook them at the same time, and the potatoes really take on that buttery onion flavor. Last but not least, a little bit of salt. Again, salt to taste, and pepper. Now, I go a little heavy on the pepper. Something about this recipe, and a little additional pepper, makes the taste just perfect. Now, I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium-low, and I'm going to cover up these potatoes and let them cook. But before I cover them up, I am going to turn them just a little bit to make sure that butter is getting all the way around, all the way through, and the pepper is getting spread out nicely, and the salt. There we go. So we're going to cook it at about a medium-low, and the time frame for this is 20 to 25 minutes, and I usually come in and turn them every 5 minutes or so. This is entirely up to your taste as to how soft you want them to be. If you have it up higher, you may end up with a crispier potato. But we're going to come back and stir it a couple times, and you'll see that, and then we're going to taste it. And that's it. These potatoes are finished. They're soft, they're delicious, and you can serve them up in whatever quantity as a side with some additional protein or however you want to eat them. Look at that beauty. And these are so delicious. Enjoy!